February 1868. To our fortune, a Hatamoto mansion was graciously provided for the Shinsengumi's new headquarters. Up until this point, the Shinsengumi had often used inns or rented establishments to house their men, but now it was all theirs, much to everyone's delight.
Oh, wow. Pretty swanky joint if I do say so myself.
They're really giving a huge mansion like this for all of the Shinsengumi to use as their headquarters?
Of course. You see how hard we're busting our asses out there for the shogunate? Ain't that right, Sano? Yeah, not too shabby. All I'm worried about is, if it's this big, cleaning it'll take a much longer. You gonna be okay, Chizuru?
I will do the best that I can. Leave all of it to me. Will I be doing all the cleaning alone, though?
Don't worry. I'll be here to lend you a hand.
You of all people? I think you're falling for this girl if you're offering to help clean. A sincere sense of joy exuded from Nagakura's face, which brought a smile to my face in kind. For a while, the burden of his new affliction seemed to trouble him, along with the new, rather unglamorous task of watching after Kondou, but all in all, this stroke of luck was a step in a positive direction for the Shinsengumi, during a time when hope was becoming a rare currency for our men. I'll take it. It took some time, but we finally moved all of our men and armaments from the Kama Inn into our brand new accommodations. Kondou had miraculously made a full recovery, and now made his long-awaited return to our new headquarters. All of the warriors were grouped together in the hall, bound by an anticipatory energy to see their leader in the flesh for the first time in a few months.
Well, gentlemen, I apologize for worrying all of you. Thankfully, I welcome you all with great news. We, the esteemed Shinsengumi, have been tasked with guarding Kofu Castle under shogunate orders.
Yeah!
So, along with our new duty, I have been awarded a new name with my promotion to the rank of Hatamoto. From now on, I am Tsuyoshi Okubo. To avoid any confusion, however, all of you are free to continue referring to me as Kondou.
Chief Kondou, sir. So, what's that mean for us to guard Kofu?
Ah, excellent question. Firstly, we are to occupy the vacant Kofu Castle, and fortify it to prevent any advance from the Imperial Army. In accordance with this, the Shinsengumi's name will be changed to the Koyo Regulatory Company. If our efforts are successful and we hold Kofu Castle, they'll give us 1,000,000 cups of rice. Then they'll make me a daimyo. Can you believe it?
That's amazing, Chief Kondou.
In the corner of the room, Nagakura was listening with his arms crossed, looking disengaged despite hearing Kondou's electrifying speech.
That's some bullshit. So, he decided without consulting us, did he? Hey, I'm sure he and Hijikata talked it over. Well, then again, everyone else is pretty pumped about it. Guess it's better than doing nothing around here.
You're right. It's been a while since I've seen our warriors this excited about anything. After the buzz settled, the soldiers left the hall to return to their rooms, leaving the captains behind.
So, this offer of yours, who'd it come from? Why, it came from Lord Awanakami Katsu, who is currently serving in place of Lord Yoshinobu at Edo Castle. Why do you ask? Katsu? Isn't he one of the highest ranking officers in the old shogunate guard? Why would he tell you to protect Kofu? Well, Kofu is a strategic location, and holding it from the Imperial Army would demonstrate our position in the chance we mobilize another war. So, if we hope to have any chance of participating in the war front, it is imperative that we take Kofu. Hope it all goes swimmingly.
Nagakura pursed his lips into a forlorn expression. Sensing the awkward vibe in the room, Hijikata summoned Soma to bring something to us.
This time around, we're going to blast those bastards with plenty of firepower and cannons. So look alive. This is your new uniform.
Soma had a stack of folded clothing in his arms, which we later realized were new Western uniforms. Do I get one this time?
The hell is that? You expect me to wear Western clothes now? I can't be seen in that.
Enough of your bitching and just wear it. Anyone who doesn't isn't coming with us to Kofu, clear?
Nagakura, Harada, and Heisuke were all awestruck by Hijikata's claim, staring at one another in shock. Dang. However, perhaps fearing being left behind, they all grabbed a set of clothing and left to change. Well, that's kind of rude, considering Kondou didn't have to change his clothes. Just because he's a big shot daimyo. I patiently waited for them to return, because I didn't get a set of clothes. Blech. And then, I found myself pleasantly surprised by the fit of their new uniforms, and all of them were sporting a new hairstyle as well. It took me aback to see how differently they had appeared in their Western attire, how it hugged their bodies so tightly, unlike Japanese clothing. Amazing. Ding! Ding! Oh, Shin. Never change.
What do you think, Chizuru? Do I look good or do I look good?
Nagakura was flexing playfully in front of me, feeling out the range of movement in his new uniform. The fabric made his frame look slender, yet muscular, revealing to me dimensions of his body in ways that were unknown to me when he wore kimonos. I think our girl's starting to fall. So that's how Westerners dress.
Not so bad once you actually try it on. It's nowhere near as floppy as a kimono, which I guess is a big help on the battlefield. Basically, when there's bullets flying at me, you best believe I'll be able to dodge them.
Rather than using sashes to hold the clothing together, the uniforms were adorned with ornate buttons and belts atop skin-tight black fabric. It was a chic look, blending Japanese colors with a modern twist, the overall effect being that of a very dashing group of soldiers. My first reaction to Nagakura's uniform was, isn't it a little tight? Nah, man, it looks fantastic. Yes, it looks fantastic.
Right? Really hugs on my muscles, don't you think?
Yeah, you got flower petals coming out of your armpit too with this new clothing, Shin. Nagakura was giddy, bouncing around the hall in glee at how snugly the uniform fit his body.
Man, I should have worn these sooner. Too bad you didn't get a uniform either, Chizuru.
Oh, no need to worry about me. I would be of no use in the war, so I am fine with what I'm wearing.
But just imagining it, a Western outfit would look so good on you.
I didn't think Nagakura had meant anything by what he'd said, but it was enough for me to blush.
Oh, you're right. You're adorable just the way you are, so you don't need these to look good, right, Chizuru?
Or not. Perhaps my first inclination was correct? Why else would he be complimenting me so nonchalantly to my face? Seeing Nagakura react so excitedly was enough for me, though, and I took solace in his bright face, which I had grown so accustomed to seeing. Did he mean anything by it? The Shinsengumi were hastily gathering all of their preparations days ahead of their departure to Kofu. I seized this opportunity to visit my childhood home in Edo, where I hadn't been in over 4 years. Since returning to Edo, I hadn't visited once, and if I were to leave with them to Kofu, this likely would be my last chance to do so in relative peace. It was strange, having to call myself into going to where I used to call home, so I made up my mind. Accompanying me on this brief journey was... Aw, thanks. Nagakura? Thank you so much for suggesting to come along with me like this. I know the sun's still out this afternoon, so is it okay for you to join me?
Yup, totally fine. In fact, I've gotten pretty used to being out and about in the daytime anyway.
He does seem to handle it the best out of everyone, aside from, like, I need a nap, but he does pretty good.
Sanan and Heisuke are wussies, saying the sun's too bright, so they're all holed up in their bedrooms. But not me, I'm totally fine. I mean, if all you can do is move at night, then we'll never make it all the way to Kofu, so don't worry at all about me.
Nagakura's unbridled enthusiasm made denying his offer to join me impossible, so the two of us set off in good spirits. He beamed in ways unseen since our initial return to Edo, only days after the revelation of his fury form came to light to the rest of the Shinsengumi. Yet, nothing seemed forced, and I genuinely sensed that he was regaining a part of himself that he'd lost. Nice. I only hoped that it would continue. Well, enjoy it while it lasts, at least. Oh, look! The house is still standing. Honestly, I almost expected it to have burned down by now. Gazing at the house, unkempt and overgrown with shrubbery after 4 years of neglect, induced a feeling of déjà vu. I almost couldn't believe it.
Ah, so this is your house, huh, Chizuru? From the outside, it totally looks like a clinic.
Entering through the front door, we saw a plume of dust kick up from the floor, covering every inch of my home's interior.
Looks like this place has been abandoned.
I don't think anyone's been inside of here since I left, which was 4 years ago.
Well, then someone's watching out for you if no one's touched your house in all that time.
Yeah, sometimes luck really finds me. I was no stranger to stories of fires or thieves ravaging homes in the Edo countryside. Leaving a house unattended for 4 years was painting a target on its back essentially to danger. And yet, my eyes shifted between stacks of cluttered books and research notes scattered along the floor, which evoked memories of days spent alongside my father. It seems only I've returned to Edo between us both. I wondered where he could be at this very moment. Suddenly, I heard the creak of the door sliding open.
Huh? Who's there?
Quite presumptuous of you to barge into my home and demand my identity.
Dang! We summoned him. The man to whom Nagakura directed his harsh tone was none other than Father, of all people. Father? Is that really you?
You're... Kodo!
Chizuru. And you must meet Nagakura of the Shinsengumi. What a surprise to have found both of you here. Now I am pleased to have dropped by at all.
Where have you been all this time, Father? What have you been doing?
Seriously? You just went and disappeared 4 years ago in Kyoto, so what gives?
4 years have passed already since then, have they? I'd been beckoned west by a certain domain. Unfortunately, my travels hindered my ability to communicate, making it difficult to keep in touch.
You mean non-existent?
Chizuru, I have been aware for some time that you have been under the custody of the Shinsengumi's care. I have finally regained my freedom. First, I traveled to Kyoto searching for you, and then I tracked you here. You have no idea how relieved I am to have located you in Edo as quickly as I have.
Oh, I see, but if you knew that I was with the Shinsengumi, then you should have visited their headquarters.
The thought crossed my mind, but I figured the Shinsengumi would only become an obstacle. In that time, I have been reflecting on the best course of action, but here you are. The time has come for you to return to Kyoto with me.
Nagakura chimed in, interrupting Father's friendly proposition in annoyance.
Wait a minute. What are you saying, that we'd become an obstacle?
I meant exactly what I said. You have my thanks for keeping my daughter safe, but your watch is no longer necessary.
Father, you shouldn't say it like that. We should visit the headquarters at least once. Don't you think it'd be good to say hello?
We have neither the time nor the luxury of that. You are returning to Kyoto with me, and that's final.
But why? Kyoto is under the control of the Satsuma Choshu now. What's waiting for us there? And then it's just like, your wedding, dear. Okay, so Dad's trying to marry us off again.
Isn't it obvious? Your marriage to Lord Kazuma is imminent, and the sooner we arrange it, the better.
Kazuma? Was it the same one that I knew? What? How do you know Kazuma, Father?
Don't you get it? They're in cahoots! Hey, Kodo, you'd better tell us how you two know each other or I'm gonna beat it out of you!
Dang. I don't think Shin's in favor of our marriage. Nagakura stretched his arm out to grab Father's lapel, but he was too slow.
Huh? Where'd he go?
In the blink of an eye, Father appeared behind Nagakura's back.
My powers may be inferior to a demon's, but rest assured I am more than capable of handling a human. If you are going to threaten me, then bring it.
Demon. So you are a demon too, Father?
Lord Kazuma has spoken to you, has he not? The Yukimura clan is a proud group of demons.
Since you're a demon, Kodo, I'm not gonna go easy on you, even with our history.
Nagakura unsheathed the sword on his hip. Nagakura!
Don't worry, I won't kill him. Just gonna teach him a lesson.
Nagakura flipped the katana in his hands and lunged towards my father at breakneck speed. His sword, however, failed to reach its target, missing Father's body by inches.
God damn it! What the hell's going on?
Is this the same Shinsengumi that Lord Kazuma struggled to defeat? An utter disappointment. With how zealously you boast about your technique, I was unsurprised by the Shinsengumi for wanting to depend on the Furies, I would say. But perhaps that is the pitfall of humanity, always falling short of what demons and Furies can achieve.
Are you saying that I'm no match compared to you and the rest of those demon bastards?
Oh, well. Nagakura fell hook, line, and sinker for Father's scathing taunts, and I could only gasp as I saw his hair and eyes change color in an instant.
Ah, I see. So you have drunk the water of life and become a Fury as well, eh, boy?
You know, I was listening to you earlier, but now you're just talking a bunch of crap.
Ugh, I hadn't expected such strength from you.
Thanks to his new abilities, Nagakura's technique and speed were enhanced tenfold, making him too much for Father to handle alone.
I see. So perhaps allowing a captain of the Shinsengumi to become a Fury is problematic. Nagakura, you are quite the Fury specimen, and I believe one day you could surpass even a demon.
I told you not to call me that!
Father ignored Nagakura's livid exclamation and instead shifted his gaze over to me.
I think it is best for us to leave it here for now. I shall come for you another time, my child.
Hold it right there, you bastard!
Nagakura slashed at where Father had been standing, but Father vanished like smoke in front of our eyes. Dang. Realizing that his foe had escaped him, Nagakura reverted back to his normal form, slumping his shoulders in defeat. Nagakura!
I didn't become a Fury because I wanted to. I never asked to become a Fury or for any of this!
He shouted until his throat was sore. His cries echoed all around us, like his heart was fighting to break free from his chest. Fade to black. I'm like, you just let him scream. Aw, poor Shin. Well, Father came, dropped the truth bomb, and then just like, peace, I'm out. Didn't even get his scalpels ready. Interesting. Chizuru really didn't have a lot of reaction to that. Compared to other roots, where she's like, no, it can't be true. She was like, Huh. V Cosma? Is it the same Cosma, Dad? Let's see. Okay, we have budding romance. We will see about that. March 1868. By spring, the Shinsengumi renamed themselves the Koyo Regulatory Company and set off in a convoy headed for Kofu Castle. Nearly 200 men filed into neatly organized lines, including their new recruits and shogunate reinforcements for the long, arduous trek to Kofu. As for myself, because of my interaction with my father, it was decided that it was unsafe for me to remain in Edo, and so I joined their convoy. What made this particular battle special was that Nagakura, as well as the rest of the Fury Corps, was allowed to accompany us. Although Nagakura briefed the Shinsengumi on his interaction with my father in Edo, he conveniently left out the details regarding the use of his powers or his cries of anguish towards the end of their encounter. I mean, the cries of anguish is not really important to the report, but the use of his powers might be. Ever since that day, Nagakura and I hadn't had much of an opportunity to speak about it, let alone have any one-on-one discussions at all. It was like both of us intuitively kept the situation under wraps, which left me in a precarious rut. Every time I saw Nagakura, my heart ached with pity. The Koyo Regulatory Company had one minor situation to deal with once our convoy reached Hachioji. While the rest of the troop, which included myself and the rest of the captains, were eagerly moving onwards to Kofu, Kondou had remained in his hometown, Tama, and was adamant about staying put for the time being.
Anyone got an excuse for what Kondou's doing in Tama? How long does he plan on partying it up? Well, does it surprise you that he's excited to show off to everyone back home? Well, look at me. I returned to Edo, but you didn't see me flaunt what I've got to all my old friends. Yeah, but that's because you basically became a Ronin. Not exactly something to be proud of. Well, you have a point, I guess. But I think Kondou's just too excited. I mean, he's going around telling everyone his new name and his new position. What is he, a kid?
Hey, cut the whining. Kondou's still your chief, which entails more than you're giving him credit for.
According to Hijikata, Kondou was fulfilling the part of his duty that included garnering moral support in shogunate villages and communities. Beyond his political obligations, Kondou also had an eye for talent, and he was working tirelessly to entice new recruits into joining our cause. Although there was some substance behind Nagakura's concerns, Hijikata was quick to cut them short.
I know that. He's out there recruiting, trying to show each of the warriors a good time before bringing them to Kofu, right? But here's the deal. We're in the middle of a march here. There's a time and place for everything.
Nagakura spat out indignantly and stormed off to a nearby clearing in the forest just off the trail. I couldn't just leave Nagakura like that, so I went off running after him. I stepped carefully through the brush, navigating the dense forest quietly until I found Nagakura, sitting underneath the shadow of a tall treetop. Punching it.
Oh. Do they really expect us to win this battle with all of this bullshit happening at the top?
Nagakura sighed heavily, then threw a forceful punch into the nearby tree trunk, which suddenly reminded me of his demeanor back when we first arrived in Edo. I was overcome with concern, so I called out to him a little ways away from where he was. Nagakura, is it alright if I join you?
Oh, Chizuru. Yeah, sure.
Calling out to him was an impulsive move, illustrated by how quickly my mind went blank afterwards, so I thought I would... I think we should let him broach the topic about Kondou. And instead we'll just apologize for our dad. Maybe. I think. You know what? I'll save. I'm not entirely sure about this choice. Let's try this. It was clear that there was something beyond the situation with Kondou that was unsettling Nagakura, which I had taken to be his duel with Father in Edo. More specifically, it was Father calling him a fury that stoked the fire of his frustrations. So it was important for me to apologize on my father's behalf if I had any hope of keeping him happy. Oh no. I want to apologize for the other day. You saved me, Nagakura. My father, however, was so cruel to you.
Oh, that. I wish you'd just forget about it.
What? But he was...
Yeah, when he called me a fury, I got pretty worked up about the whole thing. Makes my blood boil. I gotta use the fury powers a lot more wisely, don't I?
I am really, really sorry. Okay. That was the right choice. I was starting to think it wasn't.
No, it's me who's gotta apologize for not handling that situation better.
Then Nagakura's thick lips formed into a warm, inviting smile. Just look at those thick lips.
So, I guess it goes both ways. So, why don't we call it even, eh?
Even?
Yeah, we're both from Edo, right? Birds of a feather. Let's just drop it and move forward.
Okay.
Ah, yes. I think your smile suits you better, Chizuru.
Huh? Really?
Yeah, seeing that cute little smile of yours already has got my mood soaring high.
Nagakura was flattering me so much that I too had immediately begun to feel better from our talk. Ah, compliments. Balm to the soul. Being able to speak so openly about that day's events was a huge load off of my chest. Nice.
Alright, Chizuru. Why don't you go back to where everyone else is and get some shut-eye? I kinda want to cool down a bit here.
Okay. Just make sure to return as soon as you can, okay? Just as I was turning around to head back towards the troop... Oh. It's that time again, eh?
Ugh. Oh!
Nagakura? Nagakura! Was he experiencing bloodlust? His pain seemed exponentially worse than the last time it happened, and he began to grind his teeth out of sheer desperation.
No, it's nothing. Don't worry about me. Hurry back!
The words were practically spilling from his mouth as his hair and eyes suddenly changed color. What should I do? I can't just leave you like this. I can't just walk away while you suffer in agony. Without a second thought, I unsheathed my Kodachi. You can't afford anyone else seeing you like this, right? Then you have to drink my blood.
Ugh. I can't. You shouldn't have to do that. Besides, if I drink blood, then I'm no better than any other fury. Oh!
Please, just take my blood. I turned around, my back facing Nagakura, and slid the cold, sharp edge along the length of my neck. Be careful when you do that, girl. Eventually, I felt the presence of Nagakura's face slowly approaching my opened wound, and I shivered. A chilly gust of wind grazed my skin, followed by the sensation of Nagakura's eager breath.
I'm so sorry.
His tongue began to trace a shape upon my flesh reluctantly, licking the streams of blood dripping from the cut on along my carotid artery. Please, don't worry. My cut will heal itself in no time. So please, don't hold back. My message must have gotten through to Nagakura, whose tongue started to race nimbly across my skin. Nagakura was determined not to give in to these insatiable cravings, given his hatred of furies, but that he was compelled to do so, and that I gave him an outlet to satisfy them, conflicted him greatly. For myself, however, I was comforted by the notion that I could help Nagakura soothe his pain, even if it were just a little bit. I will shed every last drop of blood that he needs, Dang.